Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man almost joined the X-Men. He could have swung into battles with Wolverine and the team. Fans spotted tiny Easter eggs hinting this could happen. From New York to Xavier's school, Peter Parker might have stepped into their world. Rights and studios got in the way, but the idea still excites fans. We're uncovering the lost plans, secret moments, and the crossover that never came. Stick around and see why this almost happened Spider-Man story still blows minds today. The early 2000s changed everything for comic book movies. The world didn't have an MCU, no Avengers, no Thanos. It all began with two giants from two different studios. In 2000, X-Men arrived.
We've here from Magneto, a very powerful mutant who believes that a war is brewing between...
Audiences saw superheroes in a new light. It wasn't about bright costumes or cheesy lines anymore. The film showed fear, power, and discrimination through mutants. Wolverine, Magneto, and Professor X gave depth to the idea of what it means to be different. Fox didn't just make a superhero film, they built a universe that felt grounded, emotional, and real. 2 years later, another legend rose. Spider-Man hit theaters in 2002, and the world met Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. A shy, struggling student who wanted to do good in a world that didn't care. Sam Raimi captured heart, pain, and courage all at once. That upside-down kiss, the Green Goblin's madness, the tragedy of Uncle Ben, every moment stuck with fans forever. Both heroes were shaping pop culture side by side. X-Men showed the fight for acceptance, while Spider-Man showed the weight of responsibility. Together, they defined what a modern hero could be. But behind the scenes, there was a wall. Fox owned the mutants. Sony owned Spider-Man. Two massive franchises growing at the same time, but never allowed to cross paths. Fans kept imagining Wolverine and Spider-Man standing on the same rooftop, but legal contracts and corporate pride kept them apart. Hollywood wasn't thinking about shared universes or connected stories yet. Every studio was focused on its own success. No crossovers, no team-ups, just isolated worlds rising separately. And yet, fans could feel something bigger coming. A time when those walls might crack, when worlds might collide. Fans who watched the Fox X-Men movies closely noticed subtle nods that hinted Spider-Man could exist in the same world. In X-Men 2000, a brief newspaper headline mentions vigilante in New York stopping crimes. It was just a line, almost invisible, but fans immediately linked it to a certain web-slinger. Concept artists for X-Men included sketches of city rooftops with faint red and blue shapes in the background. Nothing official, but it showed the creative teams were thinking about overlapping superhero worlds. Deleted scenes also offered small hints. In one, a TV broadcast shows chaos in New York as mutants fight, with a masked figure swinging past a skyscraper in a split second. It never made the final cut, but it fueled fan speculation. On set, crew members later recalled playful inside jokes. Props with red and blue colors, vague sketches of a masked hero, and even casual dialogue about someone keeping New York safe were reportedly included to amuse the cast. Nothing was confirmed, yet the seeds were planted. Studios in the early 2000s loved testing fan reactions this way. Before post-credit universes were common, they used visual Easter eggs and tiny references to hint at connections. Spider-Man could have appeared through a newspaper article, a quick silhouette on a rooftop, or a distant news report, all without legal complications. These hidden hints were enough to keep fans obsessed. Every frame was analyzed, every corner of a scene scrutinized. The idea that Spider-Man could exist in the X-Men world became a running discussion online, inspiring theories, fan art, and even early what-if scenarios. And these clues weren't just fun, they showed that even before the MCU, creative teams were experimenting with shared ideas, planting seeds that fans would chase for years. After X-Men hit theaters in 2000, there was room for Spider-Man to appear in ways that felt natural but exciting. Peter Parker could be chasing a New York criminal, tracking him across state lines, and suddenly his path crosses with Wolverine investigating mutant activity in Canada. A few swings across snowy rooftops, some quips, and a brief team-up moment would instantly spark fan excitement without altering the main storyline. During X2 in 2003, when mutant hysteria is spreading worldwide, Spider-Man could be responding to civilian emergencies linked to mutants. He might save people from a mutant-related accident or witness Magneto's schemes from the sidelines. His grounded, street-level perspective would contrast with the X-Men's larger-than-life stakes, showing the human side of this chaotic world and creating opportunities for tension, humor, and moral decisions. Even a subtle post-credits cameo would have worked. Picture Parker perched on a Manhattan rooftop, noticing strange energy readings on the news. He swings toward the source, and in the distance, mutant activity unfolds. The scene is electric, full of anticipation, and perfectly sets up his first encounter with the mutants, leaving viewers eager to see how Spider-Man will fit into this strange, dangerous new world. Even if Spider-Man swinging into the X-Men world sounded amazing, the real story was happening off-screen, in boardrooms and legal offices. Fox controlled every aspect of the mutant films, while Sony held the keys to Spider-Man. Any crossover would have required both studios to negotiate profit splits, creative control, and credits. A single scene could turn into months of paperwork and endless back and forth. Actor availability added another layer. Tobey Maguire was busy filming Spider-Man 2 by the time X2 came out. Coordinating schedules to have him appear, even briefly, could have delayed both projects. Then there was the question of portrayal. Fox wanted the mutants dark, grounded, and serious, while Raimi's Spider-Man leaned emotional, humorous, and larger than life. Who would have final say over dialogue, stunts, and character tone? That could spark months of creative debate, potentially derailing both franchises. Studios did try clever shortcuts. A cameo using archival footage from Spider-Man, a voiceover on a news report, or showing a newspaper with a Spider-Man headline could suggest his presence without fully committing to a shared universe. These small moves gave fans a hint of what could be while keeping studios legally and financially safe. Then came continuity. The X-Men timeline was already tightly plotted, with careful attention to dates, events, and character arcs. Bringing Parker in meant reworking mutant events or creating explanations for why he wasn't mentioned in key scenes. Even minor details, like a news broadcast or city location, had to match across universes, or it would break the illusion. For fans, it's fascinating to realize how close they came to seeing Spider-Man collide with Wolverine or Cyclops, yet how a tangle of contracts, schedules, and continuity rules kept that dream just out of reach. Behind every almost cameo is a web of real-world logistics that shaped superhero history. Dropping Spider-Man into the X-Men world would have been like mixing two very different colors on the same canvas. Raimi's Spider-Man thrived on humor, heart, and that weight of responsibility that always pulled Peter Parker down into guilt and growth. The X-Men films, meanwhile, were grounded, serious, and political. They weren't just about fighting villains, they explored fear, prejudice, and the fragile line between humans and mutants. Every scene with Spider-Man would need to respect both sides. His bright, vibrant New York life, full of bustling streets and neon reflections, would clash with the muted, metallic, and shadowed tones of Xavier's school or Magneto's hideouts. That contrast could actually make the crossover feel cinematic, showing audiences two worlds colliding while Parker's perspective humanizes the mutant's struggles. The themes line up in ways fans might not expect. Peter's mantra about great power and responsibility mirrors the X-Men's own fight for acceptance and leadership. He could step into their battles, seeing firsthand how even good intentions are judged with suspicion. Parker learning that heroes can be feared, even when they're doing the right thing, would deepen his character while creating tension and empathy in the mutant world. Sound would play a huge role too. Imagine light, quick percussion following Spider-Man swinging through the city, then low, ominous drones as the mutants face public panic. Each beat would signal shifts in tone, making viewers feel the emotional weight of both universes at the same time. Once Spider-Man steps into the Fox mutant universe, everything shifts in ways fans would have never expected. Public opinion about mutants starts to change immediately. Newspapers, TV broadcasts, and even street chatter mention the red and blue hero helping mutants. Suddenly, humans who once feared mutants see them in a new light, and Magneto's plans to escalate the war-faced resistance from ordinary citizens inspired by Spider-Man's actions. Mutant teams react differently too. Cyclops and Storm now have an ally who isn't just powerful, but relatable. He cracks jokes under fire, helps evacuate civilians, and brings a human perspective to the team's intense battles. Wolverine might grumble at first, but even he starts trusting Parker's instincts and resourcefulness. These interactions shift key character arcs, subtly changing their decisions in critical moments. The big government and mutant cure plotlines also evolve. The Last Stand storyline takes on a new dimension when the public sees Spider-Man advocating coexistence. The cure debate becomes more polarized, more emotional, and more public. Instead of mutants being feared as unknown threats, they gain a symbolic champion, altering the narrative tension and raising stakes for both sides. The possibilities for future films explode. Fans would picture full-blown team-ups, like Spider-Man and the X-Men, Crisis in Manhattan, where Parker's presence reshapes entire battles. Viral posters, what if, fight sequences, and alternate ending montages dominate fan forums. One cameo could have sparked an entire crossover trajectory years ahead of the MCU, creating legendary fan lore about the hero who bridged two universes before anyone thought shared universes were possible. The key is that Spider-Man's involvement isn't just a cameo. It becomes a force that reshapes storylines, public perception, and character dynamics, leaving the X-Men universe forever different, and fans endlessly imagining what could have happened. Even today, in the era of multiverse madness, This almost crossover has fans buzzing. The idea of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man swinging into the X-Men world shows how powerful what could have been can be. It's a reminder that long before everyone started talking about Spider-Man meeting Doctor Strange or Deadpool popping into Wolverine's world, studios were quietly testing the waters of shared universes. This missed handshake between Fox and Sony also teaches a big lesson. Corporate walls, legal battles, and studio rivalries didn't just stop a cameo. They shaped decades of superhero storytelling. Fans now understand why some heroes never crossed paths, and why every official crossover feels like a rare, precious event. It's not just nostalgia, it's history influencing the way we experience these worlds today. The legacy of this unrealized link runs deep. It explains why fans celebrate every Easter egg, every reference, and every subtle nod in multiverse films. We crave connection, and this almost happened story highlights the creative sparks that inspired today's sprawling superhero networks. And the best part? The door is still open. Future multiverse movies could honor this idea with a hidden cameo, a newspaper headline in the background, or archival footage, letting fans finally see what they've been dreaming about for decades. So every time you see Tobey's Spider-Man or the X-Men on screen, remember how close these worlds came together. And if you want more wild superhero stories, alternate histories, and hidden secrets from your favorite movies, hit that subscribe button and join the adventure. Two universes, one imagination, and endless possibilities.